It is Dog Day. As the dog days of summer have come to a close, this series, 3 games against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, also comes to a close today here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. And the Rangers, after their win last night, 6.5 games behind the AL West division leaders. And welcome, Dave Barnett along with Tom Grieve. One thing that was different about last night was the alignment at first and third. Chris Davis moved from first to third base as Michael Young continues to heal his hamstring. And for the first time since September 6th, Hank Blaylock got the start at first base.
Yeah, I think Ron was looking for any offensive spark he could get. The Rangers weren't scoring. Felt like Hank might step in and give them a little spark, and he did. Late in the ball game, it's a 2-2 game. Jared Weaver's pitching an excellent game. Fastball right down the middle. Hank hits it right up the middle, about 410 feet. That was the game winner. The other reasons he might be in the game, he played very well against the Angels this year, and today with John Lackey on the mound, he's had excellent career numbers against John Lackey.
John Lackey does worse against the Rangers than against any other team. Today he opposes Derek Holland, whose best game so far in the major leagues happened against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Complete game 3 hitter. We'll see if he can break his personal slump and give the Rangers a series victory. Line up at pickup truck. It's a Ford F-150. By Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. And the Rangers take the field, accompanied by some of the smallest fans at Rangers Ballpark for this third and final game of the series. So far, a split, a 2-0 Angel win. behind Scott Kazmir in the bullpen over Tommy Hunter on Friday. Last night, 6 2/3 strong innings from Scott Feldman to win his 17th of the year. And in the process, the 3-2 victory, ending the Rangers' 5-game losing streak. 14 games remaining for the Angels, including 5 against this Ranger ball club. They also have 3 left against the Yankees and 6 against Oakland. Let's look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And again, Sean Figgins at the top of the order, followed by Eric Ibar. Rather than Maicer Isturis, it's Ibar at shortstop today. .332 over the last 2+ months. And he leads the majors in bunt hits with 17. Something to keep an eye on. Torrey Hunter, Vlad Guerrero, Rivera, Kendrick gets his 2nd straight start. And the former Ranger Gary Matthews Jr. in center field. And batting 8th, and Jeff Mathis will do the catching, and Derek Holland on the mound for the Rangers.
Well, Derek is 7-11 on the season. He's given up a few too many home runs. He had his first career shutout. Beautiful game against the Angels. 9 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. He had a 3-game stretch where he pitched 21 innings. He was 3-0. His ERA was 1.28. That showed what Derek is capable of. Unfortunately, the last 4 starts haven't gone quite so well. His last 4 starts, he's lost all 4 of them. His ERA is high, and he's trying in his next couple of starts as the season winds down to get back to that 3-game stretch that he was so terrific in, trying to finish strong.
Sean Figgins batting .296. 3 home runs, 49 runs batted in. He was 0 for 4 yesterday. And the day before, currently in an 0 for 10 slump. And this is the earliest start for a first pitch here in almost 13 years. September 28th, 1996. The last 12:08 home start here at Rangers Ballpark. The opponent that day, the California Angels. These Angels coming in at 88-60. First in the division by 6.5 games. And Figgins at the top of the list of leadoff hitters, getting on. Job 1 for any leadoff hitter. 1 and 2. Derek Holland coming off a loss in the Game 2 doubleheader on Saturday. 5-0. 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, and as usual gave up a home run. Most of his trouble this year is because of the long ball. 22 home runs in 121 innings, covering 18 starts. And Figgins goes down to begin the game.
Well, if you could drop that curveball in there for a strike, that'll eliminate some of your problems. Good start for Derek as he gets Figgins. One of those on-base percentage guys, just about a 40% on-base percentage guy. The backdoor curveball dropped in right on the outside corner. I think I'm going to vote this as the brightest game of the year as far as the 12 o'clock start goes up in our booth.
I second. It is blinding. Wow. The sun just directly overhead.
A little new texture to our desktop here.
Eric Ibar at 306. How does this affect the fielders? There's a little bit of shadow out in deepest right field.
I think
Cruz.
Yeah, the shadows can be a problem. I think mostly between the hitter and the pitcher when they're kind of halfway. The hitter's in the shade, the pitcher's in the sun. I think everybody feels a little bit uncomfortable as a hitter in that situation. But as far as now for the fielders go, bright sun, the only guys that'll be affected negatively are the guys who look up and see the sun. I'm sure they'll all have sunglasses on, but in this bright of sun, it can still be a problem even with sunglasses on.
Ibar with the first hit, and now the center fielder Torrey Hunter. 2 for 4 with an RBI. Tied the game 1-1 in the 4th inning last night. .311, 22 homers, 85 runs batted in. He is 8th in the league in batting average. .325 off the DL. He had the longest stretch on the shelf of his career, 32 games, with an injured adductor muscle. 0-2. I think that's different from the abductor muscle. I think there is such a thing as an abductor muscle.
I'll go along with you on that, although I don't know what it is.
In his case, it was the adductor muscle. 0-2 here. Rangers hoping for a double play. Maybe one like the one that ended the game last night. And Holland just backs him off a bit. Hunter, as we said, 8th in overall batting average. In day games, he's 4th at .343. So one guy who not only does not mind the glare of the midday, he actually thrives in it. Average up about 30 points on days like today. And he's in the top 3 in the league against left-handed pitching. Hitting .365. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Holland. 22-year-old rookie from Newark, Ohio. Last year's Rangers minor league pitcher of the year. He went 13-1 with a .227 earned run average. See the breakdown. Not bad against right-handed hitters, but in the stratosphere against lefties like Holland. And now a full count. Vlad Guerrero on deck. And you would much rather face him leading off an inning, if at all possible. Double play would be necessary for that to come about. The Angels have been arguably the steadiest team in baseball. They're the only team since the 2004 Cardinals not to have a 4-game losing streak at any point this year. And Holland has his 2nd strikeout here in the 1st. Good start so far. That brings up Guerrero with 2 outs.
Got it with a good slider, it looked like, down. Got a lot of the plate, but had good movement on. Hunter missed it.
Vlad at .296. His 15th home run of the year. First game of this series on Friday. And 45 runs batted in. He and Torrey Hunter went on the DL about the same time. One of the trips the Rangers took into Anaheim, in fact. Guerrero going for his 13th consecutive 300 season. Longest such streak in the majors. 400 home runs, 2,000 hits. Only 7 other active players have achieved those numbers. Into left field, that's Julio Bourbon out there, and there's out number 3. So only the Ibar single at the top of the 1st. The Rangers coming to bat. And the Southwest Airlines starting lineup will feature leading off in left field Julio Bourbon, followed by Elvis Andrus, again batting second and playing short. David Murphy is the DH today. Marlon Byrd and then Hank Blaylock starting for the second straight game at first base. Last night, the game-winning home run, his 24th of the year. He has taken Lackey deep twice, and his .343 average against him, also one of the best of any Ranger in this matchup tonight. Kinsler, Cruz, Davis, and Pudge, the bottom four. John Lackey is 10-8 with the 9th best ERA in the league at .347. Native of Abilene, product of Abilene High, and 1 year at UTA. 1998, first baseman, relief pitcher, then on to Grayson Community College. And over his last 4 starts, you saw that .080 earned run average. He is pitching about as well as he ever has in his career right now. 3 runs or less, 11 of his last 13 starts. Bourbon slips one past the diving Ibar, and the Rangers get a leadoff hit. Julio 1 for 3 with an infield single last night in the 7th inning. Well placed this one.
I think Lackey over the last couple of years has established himself as one of the 7 or 8, definitely top 10 pitchers in the American League. He's got excellent stuff. He's pitched in big games. He pitches deep into the game. He's a workhorse. He missed the first 33 games of this season with an injury, minor injury. But since he's come back, he's resumed his role at the top of the rotation for Anaheim.
Knapp is throwing behind Bourbon, and they will keep a close eye out on Julio. 14 for 15 stolen base department. Elvis batting .272, 6 homers, 34 runs batted in. 2 for 4 with an RBI single in the 5th, and ended an 0 for 13 slump. There goes Bourbon, and the throw not in time. So the Rangers very quickly get a man in scoring position against Lackey here in the first.
Well, the Rangers drafted Julio. They drafted him because he could be a top of the order guy who gets on base and makes things happen. And since he's been in the big leagues, that's exactly what he's been. There's a lot of guys that can run, a lot of guys that you hope can steal bases, but they don't do it at a good percentage clip. The one thing that's very impressive about Julio is when he steals base, he's generally safe. And when you project him down the road as getting to know the pitchers better, I think you can project him as a big-time base stealer. He looks like he's going to make pretty good contact at the top of the order. He really looks like he could become a Johnny Damon type player, Jacoby Ellsbury type player.
Andrus gets down a good bunt, almost beats it out. It's a sacrifice, and Bourbon is at third with 1 out for David Murphy.
Well, the only reason they got him at first, if they did get him at first, was because Figgins was somewhat anticipating the bunt. That's one of those bunts where you bunt it down the third baseline with a man on second. You make the third baseman field it. It's an automatic sacrifice. No one can cover third base. And if you lay down a good enough bunt, you might even get a base hit. That's about as good a bunt as he can lay down. It had stopped rolling. But because Figgins was playing in and because he has such a strong arm, he was able to get the call at first base.
Gary Pettis immediately disapproving of Ron Kulpa's call. So he was quickly joined by Ron Washington. 5-4 on the sacrifice, and with Bourbon 90 feet away, 0-1 to David Murphy, hitting .267 with 16 homers and 46 runs batted in. Murphy in a 1 for 11 right now over his last 3 games, including last night's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
And Lackey could easily be 4-0 in his last 4 starts. Lost to the Red Sox. He only gave up 2 earned runs in that game, and he had a no decision against Zach Greinke in Kansas City. 9 innings, only 1 run. So he's throwing really well right now. Head down the stretch. The Angels pitching, starting pitching, has been outstanding.
And these are the opportunities that went by one after another during the 5-game losing streak. And the Rangers had that one run in 46 innings. They were 0 for 27 with runners in scoring position. David Murphy providing the only run in that span with his home run Tuesday.
Well, in the game Friday night against the Angels won that game 2-0, and twice in the game the Rangers had a man on third base and less than 2 outs and couldn't get that run in. There was a strikeout and a ground ball to third base.
Here's ball 4. Rangers on the corners with one out for Marlon Byrd.
You saw a shot there of Scott Kazmir, who's come over in a trade with Tampa Bay and pitched exceptionally well in his 4 starts, helped to solidify the Angels rotation. Irvin Santana and Joe Saunders are throwing better now, but they haven't had the same kind of seasons this year that they did last year. But Weaver has stepped up to become a top of the rotation guy, one of the top pitchers in the league. Lackey's been there before. Kazmir's been there and seems to have returned there right now, so their starting pitching is looking pretty good.
Marlon Byrd struggling of late. 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Last 7 games, 3 for 24. And that followed the 8 hottest games of his season. He was .533 in the 8-game hitting streak, 16 for 30. So now would be a good time for him to come out of this recent slump. Had a pretty good season series against Angel pitching, especially June 30th. 2- and 3-run home runs off Joe Saunders. High and tight to even the count. 17 home runs, 77 runs batted in a career year for Marlon. Lackey really slowing it down with men on base. And the 1-1 is foul back. Lackey now 30. Of course, came on the big league scene with a historic splash in the 2002 World Series, the first rookie to win Game 7 of the series since 1909, when the Pirates' Babe Adams did it. "93 years later, John Lackey in Game 7 knocked off the Giants, gave the Angels their first and only World Series championship. And Byrd, sure that was inside, instead called out, and there's out number 2.
Well, Lackey threw it where he wanted to. I'm not sure if he threw a strike or not, but he threw the pitch where he wanted it, and it wasn't a strike. Marlon had a pretty good argument. First pitch was a borderline strike, but that last pitch that was called a strike, that wasn't a strike. That was off the plate.
Seems like those are the calls you get when things are going bad. Mike DeMuro behind the plate. And here is Hank Blaylock with the game-winning home run last night in the 6th inning in his first start since September 6th. His 24th of the year. 59 runs batted in now for Hank. DeMuro calling the balls and strikes. Ron Culpa is at first, Dale Scott at second, and Rob Drake is at third. From here, the Rangers fly out west, and the first of 4 with the Oakland A's tomorrow night. And Kevin Millwood, who was passed over during this Angels series, a development no one would have predicted until a few weeks ago, and Kevin started the slide that he still has not come out of. He's been working on his mechanics, but is set to get the start tomorrow in Oakland to begin that series. And we'll see the result of all that work on the side. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Blaylock.
And that's pretty much the same pitch that was called on Marlin right there. Wide strike zone, which is okay as long as it's the same for both teams.
Reaching out, that will fall in front of Rivera. And Bourboon comes home to give the Rangers the early 1-0 lead.
That's an interesting hit right there. Hank took the pitch for strike 2, and I'm sure he felt it was a little bit outside. Lackey comes back with a pitch in a similar location, and Hank, I'm sure, said to himself, I can't take it again. Whether I think it's outside or not, it's got a chance of being called a strike, so I better swing at it. And he served it out in left field for a little soft single. Here's the pitch before it. A little bit outside. It was called a strike. Next pitch in a similar location, maybe a little bit more outside, but that's what a good pitcher will do. If he gets the call in one place, he'll test it.
That one gets away from Mathis long enough for both runners to move up. Murphy at third, Blaylock now at second base. So now 2 in scoring position for Ian Kinsler. There goes a pass ball on Mathis.
We love those big 2-out hits with men in scoring position. The Rangers haven't been getting a lot of those, but Hank hit the home run last night, proved to be the game winner, and gets the Rangers on the board with a run right off the bat in the first inning today. And a tough pitch. But Lackey, again, he saw the one pitch called a strike, so he said, I think I'll try it maybe a little bit more outside. It was, but Hank still hit it. Probably wouldn't have swung at it until he had 2 strikes.
But definitely a little bit more outside, even a tougher pitch to hit than one before. It is 3-0 now to Ian.
And one thing I think the Rangers have done a good job of most of the time that Lackey pitches is make him work and throw a lot of pitches, and this won't be an exception. This will be pitch number 26 for Lackey in the first inning. Lackey had a game against the Rangers this year where he threw 131 pitches.
A 4-pitch walk loads the bases for Nelson Cruz. Second walk here in the first inning issued by Lackey. And wasting no time, Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, comes out for a chat. Nelson Cruz batting with the bases loaded now. And he is in probably the worst slump of his season. 3 for 30. A 100 average over his last 9 games. It's got his average down to 262, and that's the lowest it has been since July 17th.
Must be a real good chance to come out of it right here.
32 homers.
Still
top 4 in the league. Goes right after the first pitch, which is always a curious decision after a 4-pitch walk. Only one of those 32 homers for Cruz in his last 13 games. And you see his current struggles. Last night scored the first Ranger run to end that 25 scoreless inning streak. This pop-up will come back out of play. But it's 0-2.
And now as a hitter, you have to make an adjustment. You're down to 2 strikes to a real good pitcher with a good assortment of pitches who can get a strikeout. And so you have to sacrifice something. You have to sacrifice the power swing and make a contact swing. Try to put the ball in play. Maybe serve a little hit out like Hank got. Anything in play, you got a chance. Nice play right there by Mathis.
1-2.
That's a run saver if you don't block that.
If Lackey gets out of this inning with only 1 run, huge advantage for him. He will have thrown at least 30 pitches. 2 hits, 2 walks. A sacrifice. And 1-2 pitch right back up the middle, and that will score 2. Nelson Cruz comes through with his biggest hit in maybe a couple of weeks, and it's 3-0 Texas.
And that's the name of the game right there. 2 strikes. You can't try to drive the ball into the gaps or hit a home run or swing too hard. You have to just try to take the ball back through the middle and make some contact. And good job right there. Down, no balls and 2 strikes. Just make some contact right back through the middle. Huge hit for Nelly. Both hits are huge. Hank's hit and Nelly's hit. Both 2-out hits to drive in runs.
Here's Chris Davis to try and keep it going. A 3-run Ranger first. And that one a little bit outside. Chris 1 for 3 with the weakest double you'll ever see. Who would admit to that? The ground ball that Isturis at short tried to bare hand. Went under his hand. 1-1. And on that double, our Geico quote, I started running as hard as I could. I looked up and the ball was dribbling in the outfield. I started to go to second and was like, if I get thrown out here, it's going to look really bad.
Well, he didn't, and it looked really good. Well, no, it didn't look really good. It just was good.
No, it did not look good. Except in the box score. Looked like gold there. That's out of play, and it's a ball and 2 strikes to Chris. '24th game since coming back up from Oklahoma City. 265, 4 homers, 17 runs batted in. Next homer will be his 20th. Thought he had his 20th a few days ago, but it was ruled a double off the top of the wall after a video review.
Lackey will have to throw at least 35 pitches in this inning.
And that is at least twice as many as he would prefer in any inning. Right field, Gary Matthews Jr. for out number 3, but a big first. Rangers continue their history of success against Lackey, and they lead it after 1, 3-0.
Well, teen court is an alternative sentencing method for kids who have gotten a Class C misdemeanor in Arlington. It's a way to keep the ticket off of their record by doing community service and serving as a juror. The other group of teens that we help are some of the volunteers that we brought with us today. They get real-world experience, learn how to be attorneys, learn how the judicial system works, things like that.
Excellent. You see the information on the screen. Those who want to get involved or help out, go ahead and give them a call. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Okay, Jim. Juan Rivera, Howie Kendrick, and Kendry Morales in the second inning against Derek Collins. Staked to a 3-0 lead. We'll see how he can handle the early success. Rivera batting .291, 22 homers, 81 runs batted in. He is one off his career high for homers, and now 6 away from 100 in his career. High 2-0. This will be a very key inning for Derek Holland.
I agree with you there. He had a good first inning, had a couple of strikeouts, and he needs to come back out after the 3 runs, back it up with another good inning. Definitely has to throw strikes.
But this is high again. Things that you hear from Derek between starts and between unsuccessful starts tend to be the same statements over and over. There's the strike. And I think that's a good thing when he continues to say, I'm not going to change anything. I want to execute my pitches better, but I'm going to keep coming right after the hitters.
Yeah, he's saying he's going to keep being aggressive. He's not going to back off. He's not going to nibble, and that's a good thing. And the only thing Derek has to do, he just has to keep going out there. It's just not that easy to step in with the limited experience he had in the minor leagues and be an accomplished big league pitcher. When you've got the talent that he does, you're going to see glimpses of it. And we certainly saw that over a 3-game stretch. The Angels saw it in the game he started against Anaheim. But there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be times where he's got the exact right attitude. He's being aggressive. He's doing exactly what the game report said, his scouting report said. But it's just not working because he's not executing the pitches, and that comes with time. I think having the work ethic, having the aptitude to receive coaching in the right way, and then the right attitude on the mound, combined with talent, would lead you to believe logically that things will work out as time goes on.
0-1 to Howie Kendrick. Now 0-2. Angels second baseman, who has hit in 18 of his last 19 games at a .408 clip. And now just under 300 for the year. .297. You can almost divide this Angels season into before Howie Kendrick was sent down to Salt Lake and after he came back. Down on 3 pitches, strikeout number 3 for Holland.
And he started him off with a fastball for a strike, got him to swing at a slider, and got him to wave at a curveball.
That bodes good things for Derek. Get those breaking pitches over this afternoon. So 1 out with Rivera at first. Here's Kendry Morales, first baseman, batting .298 with 30 homers and 98 runs batted in, and a 3-for-24 slump that has dropped him under 300 now. And still a couple of RBIs short of 100. But 8th in homers, 7th in runs batted in. The 1-0 in the air and down the right field line. A long run for Cruz, who sees it go into the stands and even the count. Ron Washington comparing the pure ability of Derek Holland to Scott Kazmir. Just has a better idea of how to pitch. It's experience that's important. I'm sure Scott Kazmir, if he and Derek Holland ever got a chance to visit, would tell him some stories about when he first came up.
Yeah, and I would agree that their stuff is similar. Their fastball is similar in velocity. They each throw a hard slider. Kazmir got to the big leagues at a real young age.
Off a diving Davis into short left. And coming on to take third will be Rivera. Bourbone's throw late at second. And now with 1 out, the Angels have themselves a great scoring opportunity. We came on the air, Tom, talking about shots just like this. Close plays, some made, some not made. This very close to being a terrific play at third by Chris Davis.
That was a pretty good pitch, too. It was a fastball on the inside part of the plate. Morales is a good hitter. Just hit the ball. Chris couldn't quite get to it.
So a double for the number 4 extra base hitter in the league, Morales. And here is Gary Matthews Jr., who has suffered through just a terrible year. 238, 3 homers, 41 runs batted in. And as you see, in the month of September, just 1 for 13. The one thing he has done well all year is hit in these situations. 329 with runners in scoring position. But Holland has given him 2 balls so far, no strikes. With Rivera at third after his leadoff walk. Those always seem to cause trouble down the line, and Morales at second. Number 9 hitter Jeff Mathis on deck. That one down the middle. Holland trying to make the Rangers 3-run first stand up here. .24 of his 70 hits in situations just like this one. Breaking ball past Andrus, and it's 3-2. Another well-placed shot, and the last 2 have been within inches, maybe a foot at best, away from being makeable plays for Davis and Andrus.
Well, in this game, just in a short period of time, you've seen Derek make some good pitches with his breaking ball, and that was a curveball that got a lot of the plate. It was a decent curveball, but the location wasn't where Derek wanted to throw it. If he keeps that ball down and in, drops it on the outside corner like he did to Kendrick, you get an entirely different swing and more than likely an entirely different result.
The result here was an early visit from Mike Maddox. And for Matthews, RBI's numbers 42 and 43. So a 1-run game. A 3-run lead, very brief as it turned out. It lasted all of 4 batters. Jeff Mathis, number 9 hitting catcher, at 210. 5 homers, 26 runs batted in.
You look at the inning after the Rangers scored 3, and it's easy to cite a couple of things that were problems for Derek. Number 1 is the leadoff walk after you get the 3 runs, and number 2, the pitch to Matthews was a pitch that didn't end up where he wanted it to, and Matthews hit the ball pretty well. The other side is maybe hits it right at shortstop and it's an out and a run instead of a base hit and 2 runs, but wasn't quite the pitch he wanted to make.
Marlon Byrd just about in his tracks. Out number 2, and Matthews thought it was out number 3. That is out number 3.
I had no idea. He kind of stopped running. I thought he was going to second to tag up, and then he changed his mind and kept on going. It's like he was trying to think how many outs there were.
Well, now there are 3 outs, and it's 3-2 Texas.
and go back to first because there was only one out, and then changed his mind and went to third base. So I'm not sure what was going through Gary's mind. It almost looked like he was saying to himself, is there one out or is there two outs? Well, I'm already going to get doubled off where I am anyway. I might as well keep going. And then we found out, unfortunately for him, there was only one out.
First pitch to Pudge, handled by Eric Ibar. Well, what was going through his mind was nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Nothing
and
correct.
Then, oops.
I think actually when he first hesitated just shy of second, I think if he had turned around right then, he might well have made it back to first.
I think he could, yeah, because he did that hesitation before the ball was caught. I think you're probably right.
What will be the expense incurred in the Kangaroo Court for a play like that?
You know, I'm not sure what kind of stakes they play for. Usually Kangaroo Court is not a high finance deal. $5 maybe, something like that, if they have a Kangaroo Court. But, you know, if I'm a player, I don't want to do that, but I'll trade that for a 2-run single.
Out to Hunter. 2 quick outs.
I mean, I'll take that along with a 2-run single.
Well, if the Angels don't have a Kangaroo Court, a play like that maybe should convince them to start one. Always good for team morale and enforcement of written and unwritten rules on and off the field. Elvis Andrus, who sacrificed after Bourbon's leadoff single in the first. Rangers got 3 in the first. Base hits by Bourbon and Blaylock. They both scored, as did Murphy after a walk. RBIs by Blaylock on his single and 2 on Nelson Cruz's base hit. But 4 batters later, the Angels were back within 1. And now the 0-2 pitch is a call, strike 3. 6 pitches, all it takes Lackey to get through the second inning. Sports Southwest is brought to you by Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on your car insurance. And by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Dave Barnett with Tom Grieve. We move to the third in a 3-2 game. And the top of the order for Derek Holland to face Sean Figgins, Eric Ibar, Torrey Hunter. Figgins and Hunter both struck out in the first. Rounded Ibar base hit. And then down 3-0. Angels came right back to get within 1 with a 2-run second. 34 pitches, 20 strikes 14 balls so far from Holland. And that one rolls foul. Derek against the Angels 2-0, including that August 9th masterpiece, a 7-0 complete game 3-hitter. First rookie to shut out the Angels, allowing as few as 3 hits and striking out as many as 8 batters in Angel history. 49 years that had never happened. Into right, and drifting back is Cruz for the first out. Now that, when you consider, talking about almost half a century, is amazing. That is, statistically anyway, the best outing any rookie has ever had against the Angels.
It's one of the better games that I've ever seen pitched. Now, obviously, you have to include probably 20 or 25, 30 games in that, but you talk about a pitcher with a low pitch count, just a little over 100 pitches, not many walks, good solid number of strikeouts, not many hits, very few balls hit hard, and pinpoint control of all his pitches against a team in its own ballpark that's the second highest scoring team in baseball. All those factors add up to including that among the gems that you've seen pitch before. It was a terrific game.
That helped the Rangers win one of their 4 series victories over the Angels this year. And Ibar trying to drop one down. Now 1-2. So this is a rubber game. Rangers are 11-8 in rubber games this year, but they've lost their last 3 after winning 7 in a row. Ron Washington all years placed the premium on winning series, not looking any further ahead than the series. If you win 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4, whatever it takes to win a series, you're going to look up and your record will be good enough in most cases to be in the postseason. And that is true, but the Rangers no longer have the luxury of just winning series.
No, time is not in the favor of the Rangers, and so winning series becomes sweeping series now.
And the Rangers missed their chance at that Friday, so the best they can do here is win another series from the Angels. 6.5 games separating these two in the American League West. The Angels 2 under 500 in the division, 22-24, because of their 4-10 record against Texas. Against everybody else they've played, they are 30 over 500, 66-36. But against the Rangers, they've lost 4 straight series for the first time since 1996. Torrey Hunter, who struck out his first time, now 0-2. As Holland tries for his first 1-2-3 inning. And there's not much talk anymore about the wild card race. We're still following that. Rangers 7 games behind the Red Sox beginning play today. But this is the race where the Rangers have some control because of the remaining head-to-head matchups. They win this one, they're within 5.5. And as we said, out to Oakland for 4. Back here for 3 against Tampa Bay. Left field waiting for it for Bone, and it is a 1-2-3 inning. First of those for Derek Holland. And still Go to TexasRangers.com and choose StubHub from the tickets menu. Good crowd here this afternoon after the 4th largest of the season last night. 46,596 packing Rangers ballpark after the pregame concert on the North Lawn by Mercy Me. And they saw the end of the 5-game losing streak. David Murphy, who walked, scored the second of the 3 first-inning runs. He'll be followed by Marlon Byrd and Hank Blaylock here in the 3rd. Well placed in the gap. And Rivera will get it back in. Too late. Murphy with a leadoff double to start the bottom of the 3rd.
You got to be aggressive on the bases there and take that extra base. Rivera made a nice throw. Actually made it a pretty close play. Decent pitch from Lackey. A fastball tailing down and away outside corner. Good start to the 3rd inning for the Rangers.
That bobble by Rivera might have been the difference in throwing Murphy out and not. Byrd. Lackey could have run right at Murphy and I think made the tag to erase the lead runner, and instead he barely gets Marlon Byrd at first.
That was the kind of play that Murphy broke to 3rd, but Figgins had to break for the ball, and once he did, there was no one at 3rd base. Lackey made the call that he should get one and not take a chance on getting Murphy. You get a pretty good look at it right here. I don't know, it might have been close, but he would have had to sprint and kind of dive at him at the bag, and if he misses him, then it's 1st and 3rd and only 1 out.
Well, Blaylock's little roller bobbled by Morales. Murphy not going, but Blaylock is safe. And if Murphy goes there, he is easily home. Back in the dugout by now with a 4-2 lead.
And Morales missed that ball because he was worried about the runner. Had a little too much going on right there on that little tapper.
August 8th. Things went from bad to worse. No defensive support for Lackey. And by the end of it, he was just a screaming mass of exposed nerves.
The Rangers get a break right there because that would have been an out. No run scored. Waste an opportunity with a man on 3rd and less than 2 outs. And now you've got another shot at it right here.
Now, I know fans have heard about the contact play. Why would the contact play not have been on there?
Well, because you generally put the contact play on. There's contact.
There's big contact. Deep to left field, and Rivera has it right in front of the track. One way or another, Murphy scores. Sacrifice fly by Kinsler, his 80th RBI, and now it's 4-2 Texas.
You generally see the contact play when you've got men at 2nd and 3rd. Any ground ball. So that way, if it's bobbled, and it was, David would have scored. If it's caught and you're thrown out at the plate, you've got 1 out, and you end up with men at 1st and 3rd, rather than if no one went and the out was made at 1st, 2nd and 3rd. So the thought is, even if the guy's thrown out at the plate, all you get negatively is 1 base, 1st and 3rd and not 2nd and 3rd, and you take the risk that you might steal a run. So if it was 2nd and 3rd and a contact play and he made that play, you would have scored a run. But with only a man at 3rd base and 1 out, now if you get that guy thrown out, you lose a huge advantage of having a guy at 3rd base in scoring position, and where a base hit could score him. And so in that case, the risk is not worth the reward, because in most cases the ground ball is going to be fielded, it's going to be thrown home, and you're going to be out. So with a man on 3rd, you generally wait and make sure the ball goes through the infield.
That may be, no, I think it is the best description I've ever heard of contact play.
Well, thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you.
All the pluses and minuses, you cover them all. Why you would do it, why you wouldn't do it.
Now there's sometimes, and I can't remember who it was again. There was a play. Let's see, it might have been against Minnesota when Hank was playing 3rd and the chopper was hit to 1st and he threw home and didn't get the runner at home. Not sure.
Yeah.
It might have been Cabrera running. I can't remember. But that was a contact play, first and third, where there was a little bit of risk, and they took the risk in that play. So it's not unheard of for that.
That played a big part in Minnesota's come from behind win in that game because it required a perfect throw from first by Blaylock.
Yeah.
And his throw was too high for Pudge to make the play at the plate.
It would generally be one of your best base runners, one of your fastest base runners that could get a jump and still beat maybe a ground ball at a fielder.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. And Nelson Cruz down on strikes, but another Ranger run on Murphy's leadoff double, an error by Morales, and Kinsler's sacrifice fly. 4-2 after 3. Dave Barnett, Tom Grieve now to the 4th inning, 4-2 Texas. But the heart of the Angel order for Derek Holland to navigate: Vlad Guerrero, Juan Rivera, Howie Kendrick, 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Just had his first 1-2-3 inning, and on one pitch, a pop up to Elvis Andrus, and a very rare easy out involving Vlad Guerrero.
That's the 5th straight batter who's hit the ball in the air. A couple of pop-ups to right field, one to center field, one to left field, now one to shortstop. None of them hit extremely hard.
That double play that wasn't supposed to be off the bat of Mathis, the fly to center where Matthews went to sleep and was doubled off first base, thinking there were 2 outs. Has begun a nice run for Derek Holland. Matthews, the last Angel to reach on his 2-run single in the 2nd inning. But for some reason he lost count of the outs, and the Rangers have taken advantage. 1-1 now to Rivera.
93 miles an hour from Derek.
Leadoff walk, as is so often the case, cost Holland. Rivera scoring the first run, back in the second.
That was a good curveball. You remember the one to Gary Matthews that stayed up and out over the plate. That's where he wants to throw it, right there. Good sharp breaking curveball, down and in. Good pitch. Slightly off the plate, but it's been a strike for both teams.
Mike DeMuro's been very consistent. You have to give him that. That one has been low all day too, and it's 2-2. Now outfield, playing him slightly to pull. And pull it he does. Deep left field. Bourbon watching this one sail out of here. And it's 4-3.
We'll get another look at that. I don't think that was that bad a pitch. That was a curveball similar to the one that he took for a strike. Only Rivera's a good hitter. He's a big league hitter. He's got some power. He saw the pitch once and he made a little bit of an adjustment in his mind and waited on it and was able to hit it out of the ballpark. But might have got a little more at play. Yeah, that one got a little more of the plate. You can see number 3 slightly off the plate. The home run got a little too much of the plate. But again, it was down, not a terrible pitch. Most of the time that's not going to result in a home run, but that time it did.
23rd homer allowed by Holland. He has given up at least one in 15 of his 19 starts. And 36 of the 74 runs he has allowed this year have been via the long ball. Almost 50%. For Rivera, 395 feet. His 23rd of the year, and that ties his career high. And gives him 97 career home runs now. 2-1 to Kendrick. Struck out on 3 pitches first time he faced Holland. Routine for Andrus.
The Angels signed Gary Matthews to that big 5-year contract at around $50 million. But it's been Rivera really who's won the playing time. Gary has gotten some playing time, most of it when Torrey Hunter was hurt. But Rivera, who hasn't been signed to anything remotely near that type of contract, has been the regular left fielder, getting regular playing time all season long.
And Gary Matthews Jr. is one of the best paid 4th outfielders in baseball.
I would say you're right.
Kendry Morales doubled his first time up. Started the afternoon in a 3-for-24 slump. And batting just 188 in September after a 385 August. He was the American League Player of the Month for August. Drove in 33 runs, a third of his season's total. An Angel club record for that month. But whatever he was doing has disappeared this month. First 3 weeks of September. The rest of the Angels have had to carry him offensively. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But should the Angels make the postseason, he will be a formidable opponent no matter where they bat him. And he's down at the 7 spot in the lineup. Dropped 1 from 6 where he hit the first 2 games of this series. But how many people have a number 7 hitter who's going to be at or near 300, 30 homers and 100 runs batted in? '62nd pitch of the day for Holland at 2-2. And he'll stay 2 balls and 2 strikes. A double in the 2nd inning, his 41st of the year. He's in the top 9 in the league in doubles, top 8 in homers, top 7 in runs batted in. And Holland got him fishing for one down low. Strikeout number 4, but Rivera's home run makes it a 1-run game again.
Oh, that's what I'm sure you've seen the shots. It is another dog day here at the ballpark in Arlington. Carolyn, right?
Yes.
Your dog is Missy. What trick? Lucy, what trick are we going to do here?
We're going to do dead dog.
All right, let's do it. Rather be a dead dog or an angel's, right?
Lucy, would you rather be a dead dog or an angel? Dead dog. Good job.
Dead dog. Let's see that one more time. That kind of just slipped by me.
Lucy, would you rather be a dead dog or an angel?
There we go.
There we
dead
go.
Dog.
Good
Okay,
job.
nice going, Lucy. Way to go. All right, we'll keep them. We'll try to keep them coming.
Lucy would rather get the treat. That's what she wants.
I thought the dog days officially ended
Dog
at
days
Labor
of
Day.
August. Yeah, it's the dog days of August generally.
Good slow curve by John Lackey. 1-2. Chris Davis ended the first with a fly to right. And reaches down, pops that one into shallow center. That is trouble, but it is run down by Ibar, almost in medium center field. A long run for a shortstop.
You won't see many shortstops go deeper into the outfield to make a play than that. That's a beautiful play. You've got the speed. It's not an impossible play. You've just got to have the speed to get there. Once you get there, it's just a little pop-up. But the athletic ability comes in having the quickness and the speed to get there before it hits the ground.
And the concentration to keep track of that against a high sky like today.
Yep. Like a wide receiver going for the long bomb.
One difference, there's not a 240-pound linebacker taking aim on you.
He doesn't have a glove. Although I guess he wears sticky gloves. That helps.
Pudge Rodriguez, first time up, grounded to short to Ibar. Much easier play than the one he just turned in. Pudge's 20th start in 26 games, and Howie Kendrick has the second out in the bottom of the fourth. John Lackey, a 3-run first, 3 hits, 2 walks, one of which scored. And the other Ranger run in the third, a leadoff double by Murphy. It was unearned because of the first base error by Morales off the bat of Blaylock. Ian Kinsler brought home Murphy with a sacrifice fly to left. And Bourbon started the first with a base hit, stole a second, scored the first Ranger run. Bourbon driven in by Blaylock. Murphy and Blaylock scored on Nelson Cruz's 2-run single. And Lackey's starting to really get the range now on his breaking ball. One pitch. Diving Kendrick comes up with it, and quick enough to throw out the speedy Julio Bourbon. Lackey has his second 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 5th. Still 4-3 Texas. Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By Corona, official sponsor of the timeout. And the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. On to the fifth, 4-3 Rangers. Dave Barnett and Tom Grieve. And it's Gary Matthews Jr., Jeff Mathis, and Sean Figgins. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters against Derek Holland here in the fifth. 63 pitches so far for Derek, 41 strikes, 22 balls. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Angels, 1 error, and they've only left 1. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 3 left for Texas. And Gary Matthews Jr. involved in 2 key plays, a 2-run single in the second, which cut into the Rangers' 3-0 lead after their half of the first. And then his forgetfulness came into play as the very next batter, Mathis, flied out to Bird in center for out number 2. Matthews thought it was out number 3. Rounded second and kept on going instead of scrambling back to first. And so Bird looked up, couldn't believe his good fortune. Fired it to Blaylock at first to finish off the inning-ending double play. 2-2. Nice off-speed offering by Holland. You think Derek could get more mileage out of the change than we have so far seen, or is it a major league quality pitch yet, his changeup?
I think all his pitches are a work in progress. I think his fastball could get a little bit faster as he gets a little bit more mature, a little stronger. He's thrown harder in the minor leagues. So fastball wise, the thing you want to see is command of it, and that comes with experience. As far as his breaking ball goes, his slider, his curveball, and his changeup all have the potential to be solid major league pitches. It's just a matter of refining them, getting the confidence to throw them, and being able to locate them where he wants to.
Well, here a gift. Matthews takes that one on his shin at 2-2.
Now, that was a slider, and he just hung on to it too long, kind of pulled it down and in.
So the leadoff man on. First time that happened, it was Juan Rivera with a walk beginning the second.
I think you see games where Derek has a really good slider. You'd say, boy, that's an above average pitch. And there's been some games where you can say the same thing about his changeup. It's just a matter of consistency. I know kind of harp on that, but with a young pitcher, that really is the name of the game. It's not a matter of talent. It's just a matter of being able to harness the raw talent and being able to throw the pitches consistently where you want to. Some pitchers learn how to do it quick. Some even come up to the big leagues when they're 20 years old, like Brett Saberhagen, Dwight Gooden, and they've already got that. But that's rare. Some guys develop it in their early to mid-20s. I've seen a lot of pitchers like that. Matt Cain, Chad Billingsley early in the season for the Dodgers, for San Francisco. They become winners. Other guys, it takes a little while for it to click, sometimes in their late 20s. And unfortunately, what happens a lot is when it happens in the late 20s, it happens for a different team. And then the team that had him originally said, boy, if we'd only hung on to him.
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
But that does. It happens a lot. Sometimes they learn a new pitch. Sometimes it's a change of scenery. Sometimes it's just maturity. Something personal in their life that happens that causes it to click.
2 balls and no strikes. George Rodriguez, an example of somebody who reacts well to a life change, being traded back to Texas from Houston on August 18th. And at first, Ron Washington said he's going to be our backup catcher. We'll use him maybe a couple times a week. Well, he has become the regular catcher. Into left center field, it is Bird for out number 1. Catch all the action of the 2009 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October 7th with the Division Series on TBS.
We're talking about young pitchers. There's a couple of number of good young pitchers in the American League West. Felix Hernandez is a kid who started out when he was 20. He's only in his still early 20s, but he's been around forever. But the A's have two, Trevor Cahill and Brett Anderson, a righty and a lefty, both of them 21 years old. Each one of those kids is going to get like 175 innings, and each one of them has a chance to develop into an outstanding big league pitcher. But it's not happening this year. It's going to happen as next year and the year after come along. As talented as they are, they were both ranked among baseball's top 25 prospects coming into this season. But they're not finished products. They got to the big leagues real early, and you see glimpses of it. We saw Cahill the other night shut out the Rangers. Seen Brett Anderson do nice things against the Rangers, and then they'll have some bad starts too. So it just takes a while for talented pitchers, even in the big leagues, to put it all together and become a finished product. And it happens at varying speeds.
Sean Figgins now 0 for 3, and here's Eric Ibar, singled in the first. Last time up, he flied to right. Derek tries to work around a leadoff hit batsman, Gary Matthews Jr. here in the 5th inning.
I think the great thing for Derek and the rest of the Ranger young pitchers, and I think you have to include Scott Feldman in that just because he's only been a starting pitcher for a couple of years, Tommy Hunter, Dustin Nippert, all the young pitchers, is they're not only getting a chance to compete at the big league level, they've done it in real important games. Rangers have been in postseason fight, and so the innings you get with that kind of pressure are even, I think, more important innings than just big league innings, because you're pitching under pressure. Even though you're getting on the job training, it's important. You're not just going out there for the sake of getting some work, you're going out there to get work and win too.
You know, one of the moments from last night's game that really sticks in the memory is the expression on Scott Feldman's face when Ron Washington came out to get him. He fully expected not just to get through that inning, but I'm sure the back of his mind was maybe finish the whole thing. And he looked up, and it was as if the very last thing he expected to see was the manager coming to get the ball from him.
Well, I thought Scott handled it well. I don't blame him for feeling that way. I think Ron Washington or any manager would say he'd be disappointed if his pitcher didn't feel that way. But that's what the manager's paid to do, make those kind of decisions. And I thought Scott handled it well. He didn't want to come out of the game, but when we got out of that inning, he was there with clapping his hands, congratulating Darren O'Day, cheering for the team the rest of the way. He just didn't want to come out of the game. And there's a lot of pitchers like that.
Ibar with a base hit, first and second now with 2 outs for Torrey Hunter. Feldman looked up and then just total disbelief to see his manager come out and remove him. He had thrown 92 pitches, 6 2/3. He needed only one more out to get through the 7th. He had just retired Hunter and Morales. Neither one got it out of the infield. And Hunter barely gets this one out of the infield. It is Bird in very shallow center field, and that'll do it for the Angels' 5th. They leave 2, a hit batter and a base hit. It's still 4-3 Texas. Rangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. And we're joined by Mark McLemore here in the bottom of the fifth. Rangers leading 4-3 on Dog Day. It'll be Andrus, Murphy, and Bird against John Lackey. Rangers jumping out front with a 3-0 first. And then Derek Holland immediately saw the Angels come back on him. 2 in the second, another in the fourth, but he's still battling. That's, I guess, the single word description I would use for his day so far. He's battling. That's
what he's doing, and I think that's what he's got to do out there. He doesn't have his best stuff, but he's got to go out there and battle and keep his ball club in the game, and that's what he's doing so far.
1-1 to Andrus, and then the Rangers, who looked for a while as if they weren't going to score another run ever with the 3-run first. Do you think they are now completely mentally out of the doldrums that have been the story this week?
Well, I don't think there's the pressure on them like it was to score runs. They've scored 3-4 runs so far today, so it just, time will tell if they're really out of it. They're just not under that pressure they were earlier in the week to score runs.
2-2 to Elvis. What did you see going on with them while they were going through that?
Well, for me, I think the biggest thing is the absence of Michael Young and Josh Hamilton in that lineup. And then you've got other guys that are trying to step up and trying to do more than what they normally do, and that has a big effect.
Right back through the middle for Elvis. He's got his first hit of the day.
Elvis continues to have good at-bats. He's not trying to pull the ball. He's trying to line the ball back through the middle, and you get the kind of pitch that you can do it with, and that's what happens. He's taking the outside pitch to right field. He's pulling the inside pitch to left field. He's taking 2-0, 3-1 occasionally, trying to get on base any way he can. You really can't ask for much more in the way of improvement from game to game, as you've seen from him all season long.
David Murphy aboard twice. Walked and scored in the first, doubled and scored in the third. As you compare Elvis Andrus from day one to today, what is the biggest jump you have seen in his overall game?
I think there are a couple of things for me. One, his concentration defensively. I think early in the year he would have a tendency to get late in the game and not really focus.
Safe even on a pitch out. How about that?
Well, you love Bourbon and Andrus stealing bases, because number one, they can both steal bases, and number two, they don't get thrown out. They do it at a high level, boy. Steal a base on a pitch out. That's stealing a base right there, isn't it, Mac?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. When this happens, you're stealing that on the pitcher. Lackey just took too long. You're not supposed to steal a base that easily on a pitch out.
And that would have been a double play had it happened with Elvis still at first.
He even had the presence to look in toward the batter. Saw it was a pitch out, knew that he had to get there quickly.
Great jump, great everything, great slide. He just did exactly what he was supposed to do, and that's actually embarrassing for the pitcher and the catcher for a guy to steal easily on a pitch out.
I'm sure Lackey felt what happened. He felt like he got the ball there. Catcher had the pitch out, made a decent throw. He's safe. Man, he's either real fast or we weren't as quick as we thought we were.
Marlon Byrd makes it 5-3. 0 for his first 2 with a strikeout and ground out to the mound. Here is his 78th run batted in of the year.
Well, that's a nice run. Get the leadoff single, steal a base, move them over, bring them in.
That's baseball. That's how baseball is supposed to be played. That's winning baseball right there. Create your situations and then execute.
And that's how the Rangers have played most of this year,
with the exception of this past week. And that's the wrong time of the year for that to happen. But hey, if they can get out of here and take 2 out of 3, that's what they want. That's what you want to be able to do.
Well, it's what they want now. They really wanted a sweep before Friday. Blaylock into shallow center. Torrey Hunter has out number 2. From the player's standpoint, it's drilled into your head, no matter what sport you play, only worry about that day. the case of baseball, worry about your next at bat, worry about your next pitch. So it's really foreign to have to think in bigger chunks than that, but the Rangers have no other choice. They have to think about sweeping every series. They're going to go to Oakland after this game. They've got to think somehow we got to sweep all 4 of these.
Well, you really can't think that way, even though that's, that really is the reality of it. But you don't play those chunks in one day. You have to sweep the game that you play that day. That's how you've got to look at it.
So you can't change how you play.
You can't. You can't. If you're worrying about, the next 4, what's going to happen today? You've got to focus on what you've got in front of you today. And if you've got one game today, that's the game you've got to sweep.
2-0 to Ian Kinsler in a 2-for-23 slump. He did drive in a run with a sacrifice fly back in the 3rd after walking in the 1st. 3 balls to no strikes. So if, ifs are worthless, but if Michael Young and Josh Hamilton had been around this week, is there any way the Rangers have the numbers that they have?
I think it makes things better when you've got Michael Young and Josh Hamilton in the lineup. Obviously those things can happen even with those guys in the lineup, but you just don't think they're going to. They're not as likely to happen when you've got those 2 big players in that lineup.
I agree with you 100%, Mac, and I think there's a couple of reasons. Number one is you would think those 2 guys themselves would do something offensively, and having them there probably takes the pressure off the other guys to the extent where maybe they relax and perform offensively better than they would have better than they did anyway.
Right. You've got guys that are trying to step up and trying to, pick up the slack for those 2 being out of the lineup. And if they're in the lineup, there's no slack to pick up.
Right.
You just go out there and do what you normally do. But when you have guys trying to do more than what they're capable of doing, it doesn't normally work too well.
Right. You got the pressure of the pennant race, then you got the pressure of picking up the slack. That's a lot of pressure.
3-1 pitch, now 3-2 with, as you saw, Matt Palmer, right-hander, going out of the Angels bullpen. Michael Young tried to go. Josh Hamilton still has yet to give it a go, but Michael the other day as a DH got 1 at bat in and decided the hamstring just was not ready. That has got to be one of the toughest calls an athlete can make.
That is a very tough injury to come back from, and I've had a couple of them, and I guess one of the things that you always really look at is, okay, how's a guy walking? If you can walk and you don't feel it, they say you're still usually 7 to 10 days away from going out there and playing, because it's a different type of pressure, a different kind of reaction that you put on that leg when you're out there playing in a game situation. When you're just walking around and you don't feel it, that's great. It's a good sign. But you still need a week to 10 days before you can get back out there and test it. But, in Michael Young's situation, he's the leader of this team. He's in a pennant race, and this situation hasn't happened for an awfully long time.
Little broken bat bloop, which will send Bird around to 3rd base. And when you're in a slump like Ian, you'll take those. 2 for 23. Any hit will do. 1st and 3rd now with 2 outs.
One of the beauties of being a broadcaster is when the other team does that, you can remark what a cheap hit it is. But when we do it, it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, when it's a Ranger doing it, it's just terrific hitting.
That is. Take advantage of your opportunity.
Great at bat. He kept his hands inside that ball.
He hit it where there was no one else playing, found a hole.
And now Nelson Cruz, who had the big 2-run single in the 1st for a 3-0 lead. Last time struck out. Palmer continues to warm in the Angels bullpen. 5-3. Pitch number 81 on the day for Lackey is in there. John Lackey, who's been one of the best pitchers going. But today's run into his usual trouble against the Rangers. Career 10-12 with a 5.82 ERA against Texas. His worst ERA against any American League opponent. 0-2 to Cruz. Lackey's last 4 starts, 2-1 with an 0.80 earned run average. Since the break, .229. But against his home state, no matter how well he's pitching against everybody else, the Rangers are going to give him trouble historically. And now 1-2. Talking about Michael Young, not in the lineup. He's a .373 hitter against Lackey. Josh Hamilton, 7 for 18 with 3 homers. Not even having to face them. Your mindset as an Angel now. Your magic number is 9. And you know that the Rangers have to be basically perfect the rest of the way. Into left field. And Rivera trots in for out number 3. So the Angels just trying to tick off those magic numbers. And Mark McLemore, as always, thanks for the visit.
You got it, guys. Anytime.
That's Mac, way to pick up a run there.
I got one, huh?
I think a lot more of you now than when you first got here.
Amica Insurance. It's not just how you're covered, it's how you're treated. For more information, visit AmicaTexas.com. We go to the 6th. Rangers 5, the Angels 3. Texas trying to win 2 out of 3 again. Their 5th series victory over the Angels, who dominate everybody else basically in the American League. 66-36 record against all teams not named the Rangers. 4-10 against Texas this year. Vlad Guerrero 0 for 2 has flied to left and popped to short. That one right through the vacated hole as the Rangers, with the overshift, had moved Ian Kinsler right behind second base. Under normal circumstances, normal defenses, that's a simple ground ball out 4-3. Instead, Guerrero aboard for Juan Rivera.
It's hard to know for sure with that shift over the course of 18 or 19 games how well it works. You know, you've seen a lot of balls that Guerrero has hit right into the shift and the Rangers turn it into an out. And we've seen a couple of balls where he ends up finding a hole that may have been an out. Overall, you try to play the percentages. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You hope that it works more often than it doesn't.
Neftali Feliz up and throwing now for the Rangers. With his 135 earned run average since the beginning of August. Second best in the American League for pitchers with at least 25 innings since then. Rivera walked and scored in the second, homered in the fourth. Our Ford leaderboard. Lee's part of the number 3 bullpen in terms of ERA in the American League. Dead last year, but they didn't have people like Neftali or O'Day.
I want to thank Ann Swan for the 2 loaves of spice bread that she sent up. And thank you very much again. Very well received by all of us in the booth.
Well, not all of us, because not all of us got a chance to sample it.
Oh,
it was
what
gone.
you don't know is there's 2 loaves. That one loaf that you saw disappear, we got another loaf to break out for the second half of the game.
That's
yeah.
Very good news. And Rivera retired by Kinsler for the first out. And let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, here with your friendly 6th inning reminder to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com, it's Fox Sports Southwest, and Twitter.com, FS Southwest. Don't forget to send in your tweets and questions for Mark McLemore. He will answer them in the postgame show. Rangers Live after the game, gentlemen.
Howie Kendrick, 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Vlad Guerrero at first, 1 out in the 6th inning. Rangers out hitting LA 7-6. Texas has left 5 on, 3 for the Angels. And the Rangers on top 5-3. Deep to left field. Bourbon watches this one sail way back into the seats. Howie Kendrick has tied it with a 2-run home run. It's 5-5. And the long ball again causes big trouble for Derek Holland. His 2nd home run today. 3 of the 5 Ranger runs have scored on homers.
He struck out Kendrick the first time up on a slider and then a curveball. He got him with a couple of off-speed pitches. He got him to ground out the 2nd time. And this time he threw him a changeup, but it's pretty much right down the middle of the plate. And Kendrick hit it just like it was a pitch that he saw all the way, which he did, drove it out of the ballpark.
Number 10 of the year for Kendrick. Now 57 runs batted in. He has hit in 19 of his last 20 games. 408
there's
in
times,
that span.
Sorry, there's times where you can throw a changeup right down the middle of the plate. If it fools the hitter, you're fine. He's going to be out in front of it anyway. But Kendrick was not fooled by that pitch. He was right on it. He drove it. That's a long way. Left center field, 415 or 20 feet.
418 officially. Halfway up the bleachers. And we start over at 5-5. That makes this a very typical start for Derek Holland. At times, looks like he's ready to sail. Then you look up and another home run is flown out. That's 24 home runs this year now. This is his 31st appearance, his 19th start. And he is right at 126 innings. 24 home runs and 126 innings. An awful lot. 2-2 to Kendry Morales. So today, offense not the issue for Texas. 5 runs on 7 hits. Most any day, that's going to be enough to win. The Rangers staff 5th in the league this year, an ERA of 4.26 as a group. And Morales out number 2, the 5th strikeout on the day for Holland.
He got him, he's disappointed he gave up that home run. But the good thing is he came right back and got a good hitter. And he got him with a good slider, and he kept it down a little bit out of the strike zone. Made a good pitch to get him.
Gary Matthews Jr. now, a 2-run single in the 2nd, started the LA scoring. Led off the 5th hit by pitch. But one of 2 Angels left aboard as Holland came back to get 3 fly ball outs. 1-1. And there have been a ton of fly ball outs for Holland. flags are completely still, so there's really no jet stream. This is the hitters doing it on their own with the help that Holland's velocity provides. 10 fly ball outs, 2 homers. And Derek throwing it up there in the low, occasionally the mid 90s. You get solid contact, and he does part of the work for you. 3 balls and a strike. Matthews, who was 1 for 13 in the month of September, has reached both times today. Giving Bobby Abreu an afternoon off out in right. And right field is where that one goes. Deep. Cruz watches this one sail out. Another home run. And the Angels have their first lead of the day, 6-5.
It didn't look like a home run off the bat, but Gary hit it well enough, and he got the carry, and it snuck out a couple rows back and straight away right field. A fastball away, and Matthews went that way, and the ball carried pretty well.
4th home run of the year for Gary Matthews Jr. on the 93rd and final pitch of the afternoon for Holland. Got it way up and over the heart of the plate. So after 5 2/3, Derek Holland's afternoon is done. He cannot win it. He can lose it. The Rangers don't mount a comeback. A 3-run Angel 6th, and they're not done yet. At the 2009 MLB Umpire Camp at baseball's Youth Academy in Compton, California. The camp includes classes and on-field instruction by Major League supervisors and former big league umps with over 200 years of combined experience. For more information, go to MLBUC.com. Neftali Feliz on for Derek Holland with 2 outs, 3 runs in here in the top of the 6th, and Jeff Mathis wails at the first pitch. Holland 5 2/3 innings, 6 runs, all earned, 8 hits, 5 strikeouts, walked 1. Quickly 0-2. Derek Holland gives up his 23rd, 24th, and 25th home runs of the year. A new single game high of 3 home runs allowed. And in the 4th, solo shot to Rivera. Here in the 6th, Kendrick a 2-run shot, and Matthews chases him with the go-ahead bomb.
Well, for Derek, I'm sure he's disappointed that the game didn't go better than it did, and it's probably hard right now to see the light at the end of the tunnel. but he has to maintain the good attitude that he's got, keep working hard like he's been doing, and just trust his stuff, as they say, that as he gets more experience and as he gains confidence, things will get better and better. But it doesn't make you feel any better right now.
His last strong outing was exactly a month ago today against Minnesota, an 11-1 win, 5 1/3 innings, 1 run on 7 hits. Little pop up out into right field. Cruz ends the inning, but the biggest Angel inning yet. 3 runs, 3 hits, 2 homers, and LA on top for the first time. To the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, Chris Davis, Pudge Rodriguez, Julio Bourbon. Davis 0 for 2. Rodriguez 0 for 2. Davis on the fly ball and a pop up. Pudge is grounded out twice. Bourbon, the only one of the 3 with a base hit, and that was a single to lead off the game. He scored the first Ranger run back in a 3-run first. And now the Rangers have got to crank up even more offense. An offense that scored 1 run over a 5-game period before last night's victory. And today, 5 runs will not be enough. They've had their usual strong output against John Lackey. But the Angels finally get to Derek Holland and chase him with 3 home runs. Jason Bulger, right-hander, getting ready behind Lackey. He's at 87 pitches, 56 strikes. Holland threw 93 while he was in there, 58 strikes. And Lackey trying to see if Davis would offer at that. Many times this year he has, but not this time. 2-2. Tom, I go back to what you were saying. Derek Holland at some point may be able to look back at an outing like this and see it for what it is. It's part of his education.
Right.
But that's of no consolation at all right now to him, I'm sure.
No, Derek he's trying to be aggressive. He's a competitor. He knows it's more than just getting his work in.
Ooh, and Davis thought he had a walk. Instead, strikeout number 4 for Lackey.
He knows it's about going out and trying to win a ball game, and he's disappointed because that didn't happen. But you're right. I think someday he will look back. It's a pitch a little bit off the strike zone, out of the strike zone. We've seen it called a strike frequently. Because even in this game where Derek gave up the 6 runs, he still did some really nice things. You saw a lot of signs of the kind of pitches he's capable of making. Unfortunately, there were some mistakes that the Angels took advantage of. As you get more experience, as you refine your pitches, then you throw fewer mistakes.
Another ground ball by Pudge. Second time Ibar has handled it out at shortstop. Rodriguez is 0 for 3. 2 outs here in the 6th. And now Bourbon 1 for 3. 1 for 3 for the second straight day for Julio. John Lackey going for his 11th win. He's won at least 10 each of his 7 seasons. If he does it again next year, then he ties Nolan Ryan, who had 8 straight double-figure win campaigns, 72 through 79. Chuck Finley, like Lackey, had 7 straight in double numbers, 93 through 99. Lackey 10-8, 9th in the league with a 347 earned run average before today. And in day games, the best in the league, 139 his ERA in afternoon baseball. Now, how do you explain something like that? Is a guy's stuff any different when you see it under lights as opposed to under sunshine?
You know, unless it's a huge sample, I don't know that you can draw any conclusion out of that other than, you know, maybe he had bad stuff and faced a good team and got lit up a couple of times. But I imagine there are some guys too that just feel more comfortable pitching at either daytime or nighttime. I don't know if it's always reflected in their stats over a long period of time. But it's like hitting with men in scoring position. Over the course of your career, it might mean something, but in any given year, it can be skewed one way or the other.
Former UTA Mav. Bourbon stays alive. Lackey gets the win, or whenever he gets his next win, he ties Frank Tanana for 4th on the all-time Angels career victory list. And since 2005, only Roy Halladay has a better earned run average since then, 343, right about exactly where he is this year. Another ball for Ibar, bobbles it, no play. And the speed of Bourbon on the mind of Ibar, no doubt played a factor in trying to rush that ball. So the Rangers have a base runner with 2 outs in the 6th.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the Angels can keep Bourbon from stealing second base. They couldn't keep Elvis from stealing second, and that was with a pitch out. I think the only way Lackey's going to keep it from happening is to vary the time that he delivers to the ball to the plate, look over at first, throw over, step off, do something different. And I think if Julio can time his move, they're going to have a hard time throwing him out.
Second error by the Angels. The first was by Morales on a ball off Blaylock's bat in the 3rd. Andrews, first inning, a sac bunt. Struck out to end the 2nd, single to lead off the 5th, and scored the most recent Ranger run after stealing second. Came home on Marlon Byrd's 78th RBI. And that made it 5-3 through 5. Angels came right back with a 3-run 6th, chasing Derek Holland. Lackey continues his steady diet of breaking stuff. We really haven't seen him test the radar gun today. We haven't seen him try to rush it up as high above 90 as he could get it. That one at 89, but low and away. 101 wins against 71 losses. So when he gets to 102, that'll tie Frank Tanana, who for so many years was the #2 starter next to Nolan Ryan in the Angel rotation. The Angels just the 4th expansion team to have 5 pitchers with 100 wins in their careers. That'll do it for the Rangers' 6th. On to the 7th we go. The Angels 6, Texas 5. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. 7th inning now, Rangers ballpark in Arlington. The Angels 6, Texas 5. Neftali Feliz, who came in to get the last run of the 6th inning, in relief of Derek Holland, who lasted 5 2/3. And now at the top of the order, Sean Figgins, who is 0 for 3 against Holland, a strikeout, 2 fly balls. That helmet is not moved.
I don't think
that's
that's a
head.
I think that's a puppet. I don't think it's a real dog. I think he's got like his hand in the back of it, making it sit like that the whole game. That's the most docile puppy I've ever seen. How can he keep that hat on him?
Thinking he knows how well dressed he is. He just does not want to run the risk of messing up the ensemble. It's working so well for him today.
Oh, there's how he keeps the hat on. He's got a rubber band around that poor dog. That's how he does it. What a great dog.
Anything for our entertainment. Three balls and a strike to Figgins.
I knew Jim Knox would get to the bottom of that, figure out how that hat was staying on.
I'm surprised we've not had a one-on-one interview from Jim Knox.
Oh, that might be coming up.
Dog turned him down, we're told.
Dog doesn't talk to reporters.
Can you blame him?
Nope, he's a little bit of a prima donna.
3-2 to Figgins, trying to end an 0 for 13 slump here. 4 for 28 on the road trip. The Angels are only 2-4 on this trip. Began with a makeup loss at New York, then to Boston, and now trying to win 2 out of 3 here in Arlington. Off the fist to Elvis Andrus for the first out of the 7th inning.
Good fastball right there by Neftali. Got in on his fist. Just a little blooper to shortstop.
That'll bring up Eric Ibar. 2 for 3 singles in the 1st and 5th. So Ibar has added 3 points to his average, now at 309. Month of July he hit .414, led both leagues. Among American League shortstops, he has the 3rd best batting average, and in fielding trails only Derek Jeter. 0-2 here. Feliz worked 2 scoreless innings Friday in the first game of this series, but he walked a batter and has now issued a walk in his last 3 outings after walking only 1 in his first 12 appearances as a Ranger. Blows away Ibar, and he's retired all 3 Angels. 2 outs here in the 7th. Now Torrey Hunter.
Well, it's just heat right there. Nothing fancy. Just heat.
That is what he does best. Torrey Hunter has struck out and twice flied out. 35 strikeouts now for Feliz in 27 2/3 innings. That one right in there, 94 miles an hour. Well, but called outside, I guess. 2-0. Hunter, the number 8 hitter in the American League. Low, 3-0. In day games, he's number 4, 373. I beg your pardon, 343 in afternoon baseball for Hunter this year. Makes his home during the offseason and during these Ranger series in Prosper. About an hour away from the ballpark, where he and Deion Sanders are neighbors. Torrey from the 7th inning on hits .333 at his best, and another walk. So for Feliz, he has issued a walk now in 4 consecutive outings. And if you're Mike Maddox, you want him pitching to contact because opponents are hitting only .121 against him.
Torrey Hunter has never hit .300 in the big leagues. He's a .272 hitter coming into the season. If he didn't have the injury, I think he was on his way to having his best season ever. He's going to hit .300. He's hitting .311 right now, or he's got a great chance to do it.
Strikeout walk ratio for Feliz now 35 strikeouts, 6 walks in his first 16 major league appearances, including today. And the Rangers get Jason Grilli up and throwing with Vlad Guerrero the batter now. 2 on Hunter at first. In the 7th, they lead at 6-5. Guerrero, look at Grilli getting loose. Flied out to end the 1st, popped out to begin the 4th, singled to start the 3-run 6th. 1 out later, Howie Kendrick homered into the left field bleachers, 418 feet. That tied it at 5, and then after a strikeout of Morales, Holland fell behind Gary Matthews Jr. 3-1. And the final pitch of his afternoon, another home run. Big cut as only Guerrero can take. 1-1 on a 95-mile-an-hour heater.
Most people would get hurt if they swung like that.
He is to the baseball swing as Tiger Woods is to the golf swing. As hard.
Tiger only
as
swings at strikes,
possible.
though. He doesn't swing at that ball out of the strike zone.
Well,
of course, I guess if you tee it up out of the strike zone, you kind of made a tactical error to begin with, haven't you?
Can you picture Vlad Guerrero off a tee swinging that hard? He'd hit it over the office building.
I'd love to play golf with him. I'd like to see what it looked like.
Hunter back to first. When Guerrero homers this year, and it's been an injury-plagued season for him, he only has 15, but the Angels have lost only one game when Guerrero has gone deep. They're 11-1 in those games. That's well placed against the shift. He has his second straight hit, with Andrus playing him to pull even more than that. It's back-to-back singles. In the sixth, he hit it on the right side of the infield, where normally you'd have your second baseman, but Kinsler was behind the bag. So twice in a row, Guerrero beats the shift. And that apparently will do it for Feliz. Gone after 23 pitches, 12 strikes, and 11 balls. He retired the first three he faced, including a strikeout of Ibar, but the walk to Hunter, followed by that ground single by Guerrero, will be all we see from Neftali today. And Jason Grilli makes for Ron Washington. Jason 2-3 on the year, a save, overall a .489 earned run average. You see his numbers with the Rangers, .391, his 26th appearance here, and the bottom number the most impressive, only a .205 batting average against. Tough out here with Hunter at second, Guerrero at first. It's Juan Rivera, who's walked, homered, and popped out. Career high 23rd homer, tying his total from 3 years ago in the fourth inning. That made it 4-3. Rangers added a run in the fifth, up 5-3 until the 3-run sixth, with 2 homers, 2-run shot by Kendricks, solo blast by Matthews, chased Holland after 5 2/3. Feliz 1 full inning, A strikeout, a walk, and a base hit. And of course, the runners are his property. 0-2 as Grilly gets Rivera to step in the bucket there.
Throw a good slider. Good slider. Unhittable location.
Jason scored on in 2 of his last outings, but 8 games off the DL since August 22nd. 1-1 with a 15-19 earned run average. 9 earned runs, 5 1/3 innings, covering 8 appearances. Very inconsistent since coming off the elbow inflammation. And his ERA has more than doubled since then. It was 153 when he went on the DL. Now 391. He has stranded 13 of the 16 inherited runners that he's faced with the Rangers. And up here, 1-2. Close to a called third strike. May have been a little high, maybe a little outside. 2-2. Low, and a full count now for Rivera. On deck is Howie Kendrick, whose 2-run homer in the 6th tied it up, ensured that Derek Holland would not get his 8th win of the year. Right now on the hook for his 12th loss. 3-2 pitch down the line, but foul. A little bit too much out in front of that one. Runners, of course, were going. Good chance both of them score on a base hit here. Doesn't understand why there's no game of catch going on. All that nice grass and not taking advantage of. That's got to be very confusing. Ball 4 to load the bases. The second walk of the 7th inning. And Mike Maddox again coming out of the dugout to discuss Howie Kendrick. Kendrick has struck out, grounded out in his 10th homer of the year. 418 feet, about halfway back in the bleachers between the visitors' bullpen and Greens Hill.
Kendrick has come back from the minor leagues and been a force in the Angel lineup. Today Torres isn't playing. It's Ibar and Kendrick. And between the 3 of those guys, they've got the middle infield covered.
Loaded up with 2 outs and a line drive to center field. Off the glove of Marlon Byrd all the way to the wall. This may unload him. 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs score on the triple by Howie Kendrick. He has driven in 5 runs today, and the Angels open up a 4-run lead.
Well, Kendrick hit the ball hard to right center. Marlon was shading him just a little bit that way, but he didn't have much time to get there because the ball was hit so hard. He came close, looked like he got a glove on it, but could not come down with it. Good try.
There were so many times this year he's made catches like that. I just assumed he would get to that in the inning. And he came awfully close. So 2 of those runs are Feliz's. And Rivera, the property of Grilly. And now Morales, who has doubled and scored in the 2nd. Since then struck out twice. 6 unanswered runs by LA. They've scored 7 of the last 8. since Texas took a 4-2 lead. Two walks here in the inning. Both have come home. 1/3 of the Angel runs originated as walks. Rivera's done it twice. Walked off of Holland, leading off the second. And greeted Grilly with a walk here in the 7th. So the line for Feliz, 1 inning, 2 runs, a hit, a strikeout, a walk. 3-2 now to Morales. And a good crowd here on a Sunday afternoon. At the moment, deadly silent. They have seen their Rangers, who led 3-0 after 1, 4-2 after 3, 5-3 after 5, now down 9-5. Morales swings at ball 4. That ends the 7th. 3 more Angel runs on 2 walks, a single, and a bases clearing triple by Howie Kendrick. So
honors America with the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. America, my home, sweet home.
Summary at the stretch time here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Sixth and seventh innings have told the story for the Angels, who trailed 5-3 until they were able to chase the Rangers starter Derek Holland with 3 in the sixth. 3 more against Feliz and Grilli in the seventh. Howie Kendrick, a 2-run homer in the sixth and a 3-run triple in the seventh inning, has driven in 5 of their 9 and scored 1. And John Lackey's afternoon is complete after 6 innings, 5 runs, 7 hits. He struck out 4 and walked 2. And Jason Bolger comes on to face Murphy, Bird, and Blaylock. 59th appearance of the year.
And Bulger's done a nice job. Strikeout per inning, a .208 opponent's batting average. Needed someone to pick up the slack when Shields went on the disabled list. Another late inning guy, and boy, he's stepped up and done that.
44 of his last 51 outings have been scoreless. In the month of September, no runs on 1 hit, 5 outings. High pop up into shallow right field, and coming on to make the call and the catch is Matthews. So David Murphy 1 for 3. Right-handers hitting just .215 against Jason Bolger, and overall the opponent averaged .208, the best on the Angel staff. Last year, the AAA reliever of the year at Salt Lake. He was 4-0 with an .063 earned run average and 16 saves. Got 14 outings with the Angels. Each of the last 3 seasons, 06 through 08, spent between AAA and Anaheim. But appears to be up for good. Bird's ground ball handled by Figgins. And Bolger gets 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Bolger is 30. Native of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Lives in Snellville, Georgia. Product of Valdosta State University. He and his brothers Kevin and Brian all picked in the 2001 draft. The first time 3 brothers have ever been selected in the same draft. Kevin, a shortstop, went in the 43rd round. Brian, also a right-handed pitcher, in the 49th round. Both by the Giants. Neither one signed. Brian ended up signing after Tampa Bay picked him in the 25th round the next year, the 2002 draft. Jason, the first-round pick by the Diamondbacks, 22nd overall that year. Angels signed him as a minor league free agent January of 07.
Pretty good sign for a minor league free agent. That means everyone could have signed him, and he didn't cost much. And he didn't have to go on a big league roster, more than likely.
Yeah, it's got to be January of 06. That was his first year in the organization. And Blaylock popping behind second base to Ibar. 1-2-3 seventh turned in by Bolger. We go to the 8-9-5 Angels.
Dave and Tom, Dog Day, a big success, as you can see, all shapes and sizes. The biggest dog this great day. And how much does your dog weigh?
She weighs about a little over 100, probably 115.
115, the littlest dog right here. Here's our buddy Rex, the best posture in the bunch right here. And he also, when he's not playing the field, he can catch just like that. So Dog Day, definitely a big success. All the dogs look great. Got Josh Hamilton dressed up in the outfit right there. Very nice, guys. Nice job. Way to go, Ranger fans. Dave?
All right, Jim. And time now for our Coors Light Freeze Cam. And a tribute to our honored guests. I was fortunate that it's not any hotter than it is. 87 degrees right now.
Dogs would have liked it when it was cool and wet.
April and May be the perfect months for Dog Day. It gets much above 80, 85, and they can really struggle. But everybody seems to be handling today okay. Pitcher number 4, Doug Mathis, his 22nd appearance. Gary Matthews Jr., Jeff Mathis, and Sean Figgins in the Angel 8th. Matthews has had a big day, giving Bobby Abreu the afternoon off and right. A 2-run single started the Angels scoring in the second, made it 3-2. Hit by pitch leading off the 5th. Homered in the 3-run 6th inning on the 93rd and final pitch thrown by Derek Holland. And since then, things have gotten worse. First 6 runs charged to Derek. Feliz in 1 inning gave up 2 runs. And in a third of an inning, Jason Grilli walked the first man he faced, Rivera, who scored on Howie Kendrick's bases loaded triple. He then struck out Morales to finally bring the 7th inning to an end. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Matthews. 2 hits today. He was 1 for 13 in the month of September before this afternoon. 5 runs for the Rangers. You'd figure that should be plenty of offense. Not apparently. Julio Bourbon, the first pitcher to retire Matthews, the only one to do it today, is Doug Mathis here, the 8th. Right-hander out of Show Low, Arizona, now will face the catcher Mathis, who flied out into a bizarre inning-ending double play in the second. Matthews forgetting there was only 1 out and not 2. So he was rounding second when Marlon Byrd made the catch out in center field. Byrd then doubling Matthews easily off first. Mathis applied to center again his next time up in the 5th and greeted Feliz by flying to right in the 6th. 0 for 3 today, down to 207 for the season. And another fly ball to right field. It will be Kinsler just in fair territory. And Mathis is 0 for 4. This Angel team, for about the first third of the year, was not much for power. Their first 58 games, they hit only 44 home runs. They were 10th in the league in slugging at that point. But since then, including today, their last 90 games have featured 116 home runs. So all that power added to the way they normally play that National League style of baseball, always looking to take the extra base. Nobody goes from first and third on the base hit like the Angels. Always looking to steal. advance any way they can. So you play that type of baseball and you can go deep, then that's how you threaten 100 wins. And apparently that's going to be right around where the Angels finish. This would be their 89th win against 60 losses. 2-1 to Figgins, who's 0 for 4. After today, 13 games left. They win 11 of those. They've got triple-digit wins. Just outside, 3-1. Four more left for the Rangers in Anaheim, September 28th through August 1st. Next to last series of the year. Belted to deep right. Cruz looking up, and that one is out of here. Only the 4th homer for Sean Figgins. But the 4th homer today, all from the 4th inning on. And it's 10-5 LA.
Figgins got a pitch to his liking. Looked like a pitch on the inside corner. Take another look. Yeah, Doug got the ball in, it looked like. Nah, maybe not quite far enough in. Inside part of the plate anyway. But with a guy that's only had 3 home runs, you don't generally worry about a home run. But Figgins got a hold of that one, and there was no doubt about it.
367 feet. And he gets his 50th run batted in on his 4th homer. A pitch tracker brought to you by Amica Insurance. It's not just how you're covered, it's how you're treated. Ibar 2 for 4. And that one right in there. Singles in the 1st and 5th innings. This would be the 46th come from behind win for the Angels this year. It would break their club record set in 2004. It would drop their magic number to 7. Combination of wins and Ranger losses to clinch the division. And Mathis hits Ibar on that 2-1 pitch. Second hit batter of the day. Matthews was hit leading off the 5th by Holland. Mike Mathis has worn a trail between the Rangers dugout and the mound today. And let's check in now with Dana Larson. Dana.
Well, guys, coming up after the game, it is Rangers Live, the post-game show. Mark McLemore will join us to help us break down the key plays and key players in this game. We'll also have an all-access pass for you into the Rangers clubhouse to hear the players' reaction. We'll bring you Ron Washington's comments as well. And also right here in the heart of K9 Alley, I have a pretty good feeling that by the end of our show, we too will have gone to the Dogs. So stay tuned to see all of that and much more. It's coming up right after the game. Back to you guys.
Okay, Dana, here is Torrey Hunter. 0 for 3. Last time up, he walked and scored the first of the 3 7th-inning runs. 10 runs now on 12 hits, 2 errors, 4 left for the Angels. 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors, 6 left for Texas. And the Ranger bullpen, which was charged with keeping this a 1-run game, has not come close to achieving that goal. Things were okay with 2 outs in the 7th. Neftali Feliz had retired all 3 batters he had faced at that point, including the last out of the 6th. But then he walked this man, Torrey Hunter. Guerrero then singled against the shift for the 2nd straight time. Willie Air, the latest to get up. And that was it for Feliz. Jason Grilly came in, walked Juan Rivera, and then the bases loaded. Howie Kendrick tripled 3 more runs in and really broke it open. 6-5 became 9-5. Figgins' homer here in the 8th has made it 10-5. So the starting pitching disappointing for Derek Holland and unable to hold a couple of leads. But it was still a competitive game, Tom, when he left, and Feliz, Grilli, and Mathis have been unable to keep it a competitive game.
I think the Angels have shown in this ball game why they're the second highest scoring team in baseball. The Rangers did a nice job the first 2 games holding them to a couple of runs each night. And this is a good offense. They do the things you talked about. They're also good hitters. I mean, it's almost every guy in the team's a 300 hitter. So they are a good blend of offensive players. They've got guys that can get on base and run. They've got guys that can hit with power, and all of them hit for average.
First, second to third, all those categories. Hunter goes fishing and ends the 8th. But another run on a Figgins home run. 6 more outs left for Texas, down 5. And the Rangers down to the bottom of the 8th, trailing 10-5. Matt Palmer is the 3rd Angel pitcher of the day. 30-year-old right-hander, native of Memphis, lives in Queen Creek, Arizona.
And Matt Palmer picked up a lot of slack early in the season in the rotation when the Angels had some injuries. You look at his record. Not many guys are 10-1 in the league that you don't know much about. Palmer 10-1, pretty solid ERA, just a little bit above 4. He had 12 starts. Lackey was on the disabled list, and Palmer stepped up and did the job. Boy,
he was 8-1 in those starts. 1-2 to Kinsler. Will be followed by Cruz and Davis here at the 8th. Palmer, the 2nd Angel in club history to begin his career with 6 straight wins. Won his 6th consecutive on June 12th. Jared Weaver won his first 9 decisions back in 2006. And Palmer, the first rookie in Major League history over the age of 30 to begin a season with 6 consecutive wins, all as a starter. Giants' 31st round pick in 2002 out of Missouri State. And he really took his time winding through the system. Angels signed him as a free agent January 10th. After he had spent 7 years in the Giants system. Finally made it for 3 appearances with San Francisco last year. It was 0-2 in 12 2/3 innings. But he led the Pacific Coast League in strikeouts with AAA Fresno. So the Angels saw that big arm and decided for a very cheap price to sign him as a free agent. And that's one of their decisions that really looks very intelligent, the way things have turned out. Kinsler has walked, sacrificed fly, and singled, and stays alive here. 1 for 1 with his 80th run batted in. But in a 3 for 23 slump. Popped up just in front of second base. The shortstop Ibar has the first out of the 8th. For some reason, Ian has just quit hitting at home. Last 9 home games is not homered, has just a 129 batting average, and the sacrifice fly in the 3rd is only run batted in his last 10 home games. He is now 5 for his last 33 here at the ballpark. Nelson Cruz with the biggest early hit for Texas, a 2-run single in the 3-run first. Since then has struck out and flied out. He came in 3 for his last 30.
He threw that ball back to the pitcher and he missed it. It went right out to the umpire behind second base.
Palmer listed at 6'2", 225. He would appear to be a little bit heavier than his listed weight. Sometimes those weights are 3, 4, 5 years old.
Yeah, what they were in the rookie league.
For instance, Pedro Strop was listed about 160 when the Rangers brought him up this year. And Eric Nadel asked him, is that actually your weight? And he just laughed. He said, no, I'm about 30 pounds heavier than that at this point.
Yeah, Pedro's not heavy by any stretch of the imagination, but he's not a beanpole either. I think a lot of times you use players when they first sign their contract and go to the rookie league, and the team send out a questionnaire and scouts send in their information, and it lists the kid, what he was in college, what he was in high school, and that goes into the record book and never gets updated. Not in every case, but in some cases.
2-2 pitch under Palmer, but handled by Howie Kendrick. 2 outs in the 8th. 6 in a row retired since Bourbon reached on Ibar's error in the 6th. Last Ranger base hit, Kinsler's single in the 5th. That was also when the Rangers scored their last run. Things looked okay at that point. They were leading 5-3. But 3 runs 6th and 7th innings by the Angels have turned this thing from a Ranger lead to a 10-5 Angel runaway at this point. Chris Davis is 0 for 3. Struck out last time. 1-2. So barring a miracle, Rangers will fall to 81-67. Back to 7.5 behind the Angels in the West. And the final 2 weeks We'll begin with 4 in Oakland starting tomorrow night. Kevin Millwood against Edgar Gonzalez. Final homestand of the year next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tampa Bay will be in. And then the Rangers close with 4 at the Angels and then 3 at Seattle. A shot handled by a diving Kendrick. And with that, another 1-2-3 inning. Palmer's perfect in the 8th. 10-5 on to the ninth. Fantastic Fireworks Fridays. Enter Fireworks as the coupon code on TexasRangers.com. Sponsored by 105.3 The Fan. That will be the final Fantastic Fireworks Friday of the year. A 7:05 first pitch here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Willie Air, 5th pitcher of the afternoon, on to face Guerrero, Rivera, and Kendrick here in the 9th. In the 8th, Doug Mathis gave up a run on a hit, the Sean Figgins home run. Struck out 1 and hit Ibar. So Air, the 4th Ranger reliever, to see some action. And Willie has been in this mop-up role very sharp lately. A scoreless 7th inning Tuesday, just his 3rd major league appearance since August 21st. Most recent recall from Oklahoma City was September 11th. He has worked 7 scoreless innings in his last 6 appearances with the Rangers.
I think for Willie, just being healthy and throwing the ball well, and being part of the big league staff as the season winds down, has to be a real positive thing for him. He's had to do a lot of rehab. He's had to work his way back through AAA. Now he's back in the big leagues, throwing the ball well.
Started the year on the DL with a strained right groin. Activated April 15th, got into 3 games before going back on the DL for 2 months till June 26th, again with the groin problem. But been scored on only twice in 12 total appearances. No record, but a .251 earned run average and a .213 batting average against. So looking at next year as he issues the leadoff walk to Guerrero here. Willie Air, a name that will bear watching based on the limited amount we've been able to see him this year. Chris Pettit will be the pinch runner for Guerrero. So Vlad today 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored. Big part of their decisive 6th and 7th innings. Singled and scored in both of those. Here's Juan Rivera. 1 for 2. Solo homer in the 4th. Has scored 3 runs. Walked twice, scored both times. Tomorrow, Kevin Millwood with a start that has been pushed back quite a ways. Did not go in this series. Rangers decided he needed work on his mechanics more, and it'll be interesting, Tom, to see what the results of those mechanical changes are tomorrow in Oakland.
It sounded like Kevin was on board with it. It sounded like he made some progress, wanted to be a little more upright.
Double play ball here, 6-4-3.
Hopefully it will be a positive thing, and we'll get a chance to look at it tomorrow.
Well, the Rangers need it to be. I mean, their participation in the divisional race becomes less and less a factor every day, but at this point it's a matter of finishing with the best record possible, the most representative record of how the season has really gone. I don't think anybody wants to see this record end up only a few games over 500, because they have played much better baseball than that all year. And then in individual cases, guys want to finish with the most positive note they can, and the way the first half of this year went for Millwood, he would love to finish up as the pitcher he was, not the pitcher he has been since the 1st of July, when inexplicably he has simply lost the ability to pitch effectively even into the middle innings, much less the late innings. In the first half of the year, he was guaranteed to get you into the 7th or 8th. Another base hit for Kendrick.
He started out 0 for 2, but he's done pretty well since then. Home run, a triple, 5 runs knocked in, and now a single on top of that. That's his average over 300. He was down in the 230s before they sent him back to the minor leagues. It seems like a very effective use of the option rule. Send a player down, get some work on some things, and come back. And boy, he's come back better than ever.
Kevin Jepson preparing to pitch the bottom of the 9th for Mike Scioscia. And here is Morales. He doubled and scored in the 2nd. Since then has struck out 3 times. Magic number was 9 beginning the day for the Angels. Barring a Ranger rally, it will drop to 7 to clinch the division. They've been in first place 72 consecutive days. They really started playing June 11th. They were a 500 team to that point, 29-29. They will be 60-31 since June 11th. If they hang on here, 1-2 to Morales. That's the percentage Ron Washington talks about when he says if you just win series, you'll be okay. You win series after series, and you look up and you've won 60 out of 90. In the last 20 months, the only losing month the Angels have had was April. They were 9-12 this April. And boy, have they made up those 3 games on 500 with a vengeance ever since then. They will still be one game under 500 against the division. They'll be 23-24 against the West, 5-10 against Texas. This will be the first series victory against the Rangers this year, after losing the first 4 series. And there's a call, strike 3. A walk, a base hit, but a double play helps out Willie Ayer in the ninth. Last chance for the Rangers. They trail 10-5. Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. And by the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. Rangers down to their final 3 outs, trailing 10-5. Dave Barnett with Tom Grieve on a sun splash 33,688 for the final game of this 3-game set with the Angels. Rangers had their mind on a sweep when play began Friday. Barring at least a 5-run ninth, they will lose 2 out of 3. Drop back to 7.5 behind the Angels in the division. Their 4th pitcher, Kevin Jepson, will work to Pudge Rodriguez, and then the top of the order, Bourbon and Andrews here in the ninth.
The Angels over the last couple of years have introduced several new pitchers to their bullpen, and we've seen 3 of them tonight. Bulger, Palmer, who was, as we mentioned, has also done some nice work in the rotation. Kevin Jepson, good fastball. I've seen him reach the upper 90s with his fastball. And they've had to make up a little bit of difference. Scott Shields has been on the disabled list. Arredondo has not pitched quite as well this year as he did last year. So they're looking for some late inning guys. K-Rod went to the Mets. They signed Brian Fuentes, another new pitcher. And they've all done a nice job to keep the Angels pretty much where they've been. Real solid in relief.
Still 0-2 to Pudge, who was grounded out 3 times. Jepson turned 25 a couple of months ago. Born in Anaheim. 2nd-round pick in 2002, the year they won the World Series. Out of high school in Nevada. Originally signed by scout Todd Blyleven. Surely that has to be Bruce's brother.
Yep, that's his son.
His son, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Can't be that many Blylevens running around in baseball.
No, Todd is his son. Todd was a pitcher, I think, at Southern Cal. I'm not positive on that. Who then played some minor league baseball. I think he might have signed with the Angels and played some minor league baseball with them.
Pudge holds up, and it's 2-2. Jepson got his first 9 innings 9 games of major league work in with the Angels last year. 8 1/3 innings. 0-1 with a .432 earned run average. And Pudge twice has grounded out to short. Now twice has grounded out to Kendrick at second. 0 for 4, nothing out of the infield. 2 outs to go, and here is Julio Bourbon, who led the Ranger first with a single, stole second, scored the first of their 3 runs. Since then, his flied out, grounded out, reached on an error by Ibar. Jepson, a member of the bronze medal winning Team USA in the Beijing Olympics last year. Can bring it up there in a hurry, as you see. 96 on the fastball. 1-1 to Julio. That one right past him. It's 1-2. Well, tomorrow night, first of 4 at Oakland, here on Fox Sports Southwest, and radio broadcast with Eric Nadel and myself on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas Fort Worth. First pitch 9:07, radio airtime 8:30, and Rangers Live 8:30 on Fox Sports Southwest. Millwood against Edgar Gonzalez. The Rangers saw in the series here. After that, Brandon McCarthy against Trevor Cahill. On Wednesday, Tommy Hunter against Clayton Mortensen. Thursday, Scott Feldman will go for his 18th win against Brett Anderson. Great matchup there. Right field, Matthews started in, now goes back and has time to haul in out number 2 here in the bottom of the ninth. So Bourbon 1 for 5, and now Elvis Andrus. Sacrifice in the first, struck out in the second, singled, stole second and scored in the 5th, and a fielder's choice ended the 6th. So he scored the most recent Ranger run, which at the time put Texas up 5-3. 5-3 headed to the 6th inning, and since then 7 unanswered put up there by the Angels. From 5-3 back, they lead it 10-5. They have out-hit Texas 12-7. The Angels now go home, and they have 3 with the Yankees. Off day Thursday, 3 with Oakland over the weekend. Sean Figgins will end the game. A 1-2-3 ninth for Kevin Jepson, and a 10-5 victory for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and they take this series, the one that the Rangers needed so badly to sweep. The Angels win 2 out of 3. And let's send you to Dana and Mac, guys.
Dave, thank you very much. And boy, Mac, the way